Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, K Funk, thinking right out here in the lab. Well, I do what I do for you. I had to cut the last lesson short because I had some errands to run, some things to do. So I'm back to finish up my lesson. So let's do what we do. Right is a 25 will live by storytelling, story with a message. Message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receive them. We got a good thing working. Let's rock. Right thinking mission. And yeah, that's what I'm on. It's to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. There's starting to become a conscious shift in the world. Come on, get on board. Let's go. We right on point. Let's do what we do. Right thinkers way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment within yourself, aka know thyself. My mission is to get you to do just that. If you claim to be a right thinker, you should, know thyself, because that's the program, that's my motto, that's what I do for you. Let's go. Know thyself is the question I ask. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself too, and I can help you with that, that's what I do for you. Help you to know you. A person who knows not, knows not that they know not, foolish, disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got you. A person who knows not and believes or think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows what knows not that they know is spiritual asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know themselves. And to my app, me too. We talk about the aspects of your character. We doing Gab. Right thinkers. Let's talk about mastering the principle of Gad. He's the earth god. He represents earth. Now earth is female. Ancient times, earth represents the male because the female was heaven. Okay, so that's the concept. Let's talk about Gad. All right, I'll finish up with a little phrase here where it said, if you don't have death, it will not be useful, because all of your reflections are going to be about life and not about the opposite. They are going to be one dimensional. Again, we talk about God, the earth. Earth is one dimensional, physical world. The physical aspect, while the physical body, we here on this level. Okay? That's the part that Gab represents. And the whole part we're going to discuss is evil as well as good both operate to advance the great plane. So he's saying, remember, Maya, you can't have one without the other. If we got all good, we one dimensional. That won't work. It just won't happen. If we got ever life, living, again, one dimensional. You got to have duality. So let's talk about that. And watch this. What will you do without Set? Set represents the opposition, okay? Without opposition. If you have nobody to oppose what is good, you got nothing going. Again, no duality. So I still, without that which is what? Negative. If there is no trouble in life, you'll never come to the temple of Aset and listen to what the teachings. Why? Because everything is going so good. There's nothing going wrong for you. So because there is no trouble, and Set means trouble. Your ego, I tell you, he the honey badger of the aspects of your character. He look for a fight. He don't care. So that's why he taking the profits. Everybody scared of profits. He could care less. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Another lesson. But watch this. Set means trouble. Understand that. And Nephet means death. She's mortality. She's nature. If you're born, you're going to die. Nature rises up, goes back down. To what? Rise up again. That's the cycle of life with nature. So is it with us. Watch this. So Nephet is like the failsafe. What do you mean failsafe? If Set doesn't teach you your lessons in your lifetime, Meaning if you continue to be like you are, nothing's gonna step in. Death gonna take you out. Okay? Nothing had no watch this. Nothing has to come along and what? And kill you so that you will what? Come back so that you will die and come back another day. Sound familiar? And have the struggle again over and over. That's all Boris chasing your tail. You ain't learning nothing. Set means you doing something wrong. And if you don't learn, you're gonna continue to suffer the consequences of your wrong action by being reincarnated because you haven't enlightened yourself. Watch this. Now, also, death is there so that what? We can give other souls a chance to incarnate and put what? Their 2 cents in about what? How they think that the world should be. Right now, we live in a time we're being run by not good people. I'm being politically correct, trying to keep it. But when you have bad at the top, the trickle down effect is going to be bad. When you put good at the top, yes, think about that. And that's just nature. That ain't what I'm saying. That's just how it'll be. How we don't know that? We never tried it, obviously. Moving on, just a concept. But now, guess what? Imagine if the same people were alive all the time. Some of the people you might not want to be bothered with. So just imagine the concept. Watch this. Now, and no one was to ever die. That's why the spirit has that ability to continue on. Why? The humans don't need that kind of power. Why? They will misuse it and abuse it. Look what we're doing when we get in here in the human form. Half of us will not know ourselves. Matter of fact, according to the numbers, 85% of us won't know ourselves. That's crazy to me, but we're going to work on that number. But watch this. Now, imagine we didn't die. It would be a pathetic situation, okay? Just ongoing nonsense. Without death, you would never grow, never change, because death is what? Is a passageway where to into a dynamic kind of transformation and at least a possibility for what? That the ultimate transformation, but in any case, a forced transition from what? One personality to a different one. So either a vertical, which is this way, movement, or at least what? A horizontal movement going up through reincarnation. When you go this way, when you reincarnate, the idea is to go this way. If you keep going this way, you're going to keep going around and around. That's the concept. So watch this. So there are certain transformations that people cannot do what? During their life. Why? While they're alive. Why? They locked in. Watch this. This is the brainwashing job that's been done to us for generations. This is the mental concept that we're trying to get us to break this nonsense. They call it the matrix, whatever. We need to understand. We are locked in to what? Locked into their mental complexes by their what? Parentage. Remember, the first 7 years of life, we're programmed by our environment. If you don't change that programming, you're programmed by somebody else, which is your parents. They love you, they care about you, but you're still programmed by somebody outside of yourself. Why? Because they gave you that. That's not you. You have to grow and take it, use it to your benefit, and manifest for yourself. That's reprogramming. Becoming enlightened, knowing thyself. Why? Somebody's telling you who you are until you gradually grow. 14 years old, second 7 years, you done manipulate the seven, worked it to your benefit. Now, the last seven, the third seven bracket at 21, adult, you should have been programmed, understand the program, and restructure the program to suit your needs. If not, you are running on an old program. That's a psychological problem for a lot of us, and we're starting to figure that out. So we start to become conscious of that. If there's a problem, you recognize the problem is halfway solved. That's half the problem right there. Realize that there's a problem. So move on. Watch this. Now, this is our major problem. And it's because of our parentage. By what? Their family, their traditions, Christmas, every holiday. Well, again, the traditions and their cultures. Again, I'm this, I'm that. We do this, we do that. Ah. So together with what? The goddess Neptet and the goddess Maya, goddess Mishkanet, pushes you what on so that you can be born into what a different family. Remember, reincarnation is for you to get better, not to just come back and do the same thing. But if you don't get better, you're going to do the same thing. So they're trying to help you along the way. And when you're born to a family into what different situations, you can be born as different character, but guess what? You still possessing the same soul, the same spirit. It don't change. Why? Albeit ignorant of its true nature, it's still so beyond the personality. Watch this. It operates through. It don't know from nothing. And if you don't get it, it's got to go along with the flow again. Watch this. Now, in one likely, you'll be a mother. Unlikely, you may be a father. These are reincarnations. And in another lifetime, you will be a sister or next a brother. And in the next government worker. So these are all things that you're going to go through, change the life. We understand the concept. Watch this. But in the next life, maybe a farmer. In the next, an enemy. And what? The next a friend, and the next healthy, and the next sick, etc. It goes on and on and on. These are all hypothetical, but they're situations that we go through in life. So through this process, again, we call life, you can what? Get all the realms of experience so that what? You won't be one-sided in your life experiences. Again, you have to learn lessons. That's what they say we come here for. Okay, I ain't got a problem with that. And I agree to a degree. Why? Because if you don't find out who you are, you're going to have some problems. I did it. I lived it. This is why I do what I do to help you. Why? We all need to know ourselves, if nothing else. So that's why. And watch this. And since I've done it, all I want to do is tell somebody else how to do it. I'm obsessed with that. Sorry, but yeah, that's what I do. And watch this. Now, the broader your experience, meaning the more you know, becomes, watch this, the more expanded your consciousness is. You're starting to get better at learning who you are. Hopefully, you ring that bell. But watch this. But what good is all these possibilities to gain all these experiences if what? You don't have any spiritual aspirations? If you don't have the desire to achieve the ultimate freedom for yourself, and that is what? Become Haru master of self, while in the flesh. Sounds familiar? I'm just saying, moving on, trying to get this out the way. Now, what would be the purpose of life if you are born just to what? Face insecurities and anxieties of what? Growing up, going through the toils, raising children, suffering the ravages of old age and diseases, loving some people, hating others, desiring objects, only to what? Give them all up when? At the time of death. He had a whole bunch of stuff. And then that go with a whole bunch of people got his stuff. I'm not going to accumulate a whole bunch of stuff, but y'all can pick over, so I'll take that. Books, yeah, but I'm going to leave a will for that. But everything else, why? I don't need stuff. That's why. A wise man, it ain't the man who has the most that makes it rich. It's the man who desires and need less that's really rich. Okay? Color me rich. All right, watch this. The answer, watch this. The answer is that there would be no real purpose to that kind of life. The wisdom that comes from what? The study, here we go, what I do, of the gods and goddesses, and learn them as aspects. You give life meaning by what? Even more than that, what? It provides insight into a means to experience the meaning of life. So this is not just an intellectual exercise that leads nowhere, or a psychological delusion such as experienced in the faith-based religions. Again, superstitions, not spiritual truth. You can believe in what you want, but it's nothing there. You get nothing. With spiritual truth that you can manifest for yourself, that's the goal. With I'm gonna let the religion thing go. They keep saying that with belief-based concepts don't get you there. Some it do, and I know some will. Why? Because if they dedicate their serious about the faith, then they'll follow it to the letter and they'll work for them. That's how it works. Other people don't do that. There's three phases: listening to the story, uh, reflecting on the story, practicing and getting understanding. And then the last part, when you do that, something happens. That's the mystic experience. That's the but God experience that every human being who practices religion is supposed to strive for. But I'm telling you, every right thinker gonna know themselves through what knowledge, putting in the work and understanding. That's how you get it done from a spiritual concept, not religious. Okay, you have to live it. Watch this. Now, in the center of the Anuian cosmic omethograph, it has a what? A great obelisk and the 10 Neteru, or gods and goddesses of the Anuian theurgy, and they're called a Paut or a Paute, P-A-U-T or P-A-U-T-I. And Paute means company of gods and goddesses. And of course, as you know, that is from a religious perspective, we call them God and goddesses. But watch this, from a metaphysical perspective and a mystical perspective, we call them principles. Yeah, Mayat is based on principles. Now watch this, aka cosmic forces. Luke, use the principles. That don't sound good. Luke, use the force. Sounds real good. Okay, but they're the same thing. And watch this. And as you enter into these studies, putting in your work in. Gab is 1 out of 10. I'm gonna give you every aspect of your character. We already know about the ego. I'm bringing you up on set. I got the rest of them. Don't worry about it. We're doing set right now. But when you learn about each one of them and you learn to master it, then you know thyself. That's what I'm trying to get you. We get, watch this, into the esoteric aspect. I'm giving you the esoteric aspect of the Anuian theurgy and Netarianism in general. Netarianism, aka right thinking philosophy, is the religion of the ancient African, ancient Egyptians. I use this book. I use this book. I got some more books. But my goal is to get you by hook or crook to know thyself. And the means of breaking stuff down, explaining it to you, that's my route. That's what I'm taking. I just finished 201. I got some work to do on 202, I think it is. Yeah. All right, I'm moving on. Okay, I got a little time. Let's go. Now let's move this thing. I hope you get the concept. Now, all this and more we have discussed in our journey through what? The tree of life. But today we have a what special treat right quick for you. If you have not gained an insight already into what? The masterful synchronicity of Netarianism, aka right there philosophy, you will be rewarded today. Why? Right there, philosophy is the spiritual system related to what? The god and goddesses of our ancient Egypt, who are referred to again as Neteru. Netarianism is C-top Neter. I told you right there, philosophy, same thing, spin off. The hidden divinity. I'm teaching you about the hidden one, the formal name of the religion. And as what we continue today, you're going to see more of this synchronicity, how the interrelationships work, and how the study of the divinities leads us to know ourselves and to what? Attain spiritual enlightenment. I love when the goal is to become spiritual enlightenment. That's to know ourselves. Same thing. I get excited. Calm down. I gotta calm myself down. So today we're going to what? Study the divine divinity, Gad, mastering the concept. Recapping again, we discussed how Ra came out from the primeval ocean, and his body, himself, was primeval ocean, the noon. He turned part of his body into the divinities, the elements, and the cosmic forces, again, all from him. First, he engendered Shu Tafnut, which were going to be discussions in the future. I got some stuff about them, don't worry about them. But now, then you got Shu and Tafnut came together, and what? They gave birth to Geb and Nu. Geb and Nu gave birth to Asar and Aset, Set, and Nephet, and Haru the 5 holidays back in the day. We had 360 days. When Nut got pregnant and Ra said she couldn't give birth, Tahuti went and stole 5 days from Kansu from the moon, took 5 days and let her give birth on the other days under the 360 of the year. So those 5 days was ethnological days, meaning holiday symbolically special for the birth of the gods. That's when it started. Now you got holiday for pretty much everything, but that's the concept. That's what it was about. And watch this. And we have been going from the bottom up, working away from, remember, set, starting away from set. We have been discussing the tree of life and the spiritual, psycho-spiritual journey of the tree of life from what? The bottom up. From the top down, the journey is of creation. We start with the elements, Ra, Shu, Tafnu, Gad, and Nut, Nut, excuse me. That's all elements. That's what you're telling me. That's five in number. The six is humans. From down up, the journey is one of what? Dissolution and dismantling what? Creation, so as to what? Discover its constitute parts and to deconstruct it to what? Learn it secrets in order to what? Not be deluded by it, or other words, to know the higher truth beyond it. The hidden messages and the stuff, what I'm teaching, esoteric not knowledge, excuse me. So as you study, don't just study, you learn about the divinities, about the concept of the principles. You actually, and what is happening is that they are being what? Deconstructed in your mind. You build them in your mind. If you listen to the teachings, well, we are deconstructing these conceptions, these principles, and at the same time creating itself as being what? Dismantled in your mind. That is the illusory understanding about creation that you have developed is being what? Torn down. The ego is being conquered. We are dissolving them where? In your mind, where everything starts. And as that happens, you as a personality also what? Dissolve. And what is left at the end of the dissolutions is what? What is left is what? Supreme and transcendental being, which is what? The reality behind all of the principles that we represent. This is how it's supposed to work for you. Each one, you get better at it, proficient at it, you incorporate that, and you move on and you master everyone, emulate them, and become a self-master. Trust me, it works just like that. Now I'm going to get to the next lesson. So now, watch this. With the last lecture, we conclude the lower divinities, divinities that come in to make up what? The human personality. Start with your ego. You have all the elements where? Within you. Again, everything you need is in you. Ain't nothing out there that you need to do what you need to do for yourself. But the lower five mostly represent what? The prominent aspects of what? Your personality, as discussed. Soul, which is a saw. Wisdom, which is a set. You understand? See where I'm going with this? Egoism, which is set. Mortality, which is neptat. Aspiration, here you go. Aspirations and redemption, which is who? Haru which is you going through life and mastering oneself, aka know that self. You become Haru in all your regalia. You go back to like your dad. You sit on the throne. Okay, as we break through what's the level of Asar, and I said, now we move into what? The realm of what? Heaven, the heavenly worlds, the cosmic divinities, as we do in Gad, the principle that transcends this little world, the physical world that you on your little ego, see, watch this, and your little soul, and your little wisdom about life, and your life and death, and your aspiration, which in what in the end of it is all just one little insignificant grain of sand in the midst of this big world. And the world is an insignificant little grain of sand where in the midst of an even or our galaxy. Our own galaxy is what? Insignificant grain of sand in the midst of the whole universe. And the universe is a thought in the mind of who? The Supreme Being. Again, God. This brief set of reflections is to give you an idea and to show you how little you are as a personality in the real world and how significant you are as a cosmic being, because what? The cosmic being that permeates and sustains the creation in the innermost identity of the soul of everyone In other words, as you expand your to encompass your entire creation, then it is a different story when you become knowledgeable of oneself. Now I'm gonna skip over here and get to my last little bit. I'm almost there. Where we at 209? Yeah, I got 3 phrases to read for you, and then this lesson's over. I hope it didn't hurt. Hope it enlightened you. Let's talk about what they say. Ba a per shat arta. That means soul to heaven, body to earth. Right quick. Now keep in mind that we are giving a metaphor here. This is a metaphor. Your physical body does not escape. Though some of your subtle parts of the personality do escape, remember the ancient Egyptians saying, body belongs to earth and the soul belongs to heaven. But on the other hand, know that as long as you are caught up in unrighteousness and are and are ignorantly holding on to what earthly objects and worldly concepts, the smam, which is Geb, his other form, S-M-A-U-M, S-M-A-M, is what is going to come and grab you and hold you, and those mummy swatterings will never be taken off of you, and you will not be like the resurrected Asar, but rather a reincarnated soul that is called the meaning to live again or resurrection. Mastery, self-mastery of the earth element means what? Also mastering your cravings for what? Food and your earthly desires, mainly the issues of the 3 lower psycho-spiritual consciousness energy centers, which is the chakras, or in Masonic order, 3 levels of masonry. You need 7. So if you just got 3, you need to raise your conscious level. Why? Because 3 is still on a beastly instinctive nature, hence beastly nature. Why? You have instinct. You're just going on ego. That's instinctive. Your higher nature is you're thinking, you have compassion, you're not sympathy, empathy. You're speaking the truth, Makaru, and that opens the third eye. You see all, and you become the 7th round. Open up the chakras. The 1,000 lotus plants open up like a firecracker. That's the awakening. And when you experience that, you made it to the top. Let's go. Last one. I got a question. I got a little cute. No. I got something. I ain't finished. Sorry about that. One little more part. Now, controlling, here we go. This is important. Learning to control your earthly pleasures and your desires for sexuality is related to the second energy center. I just told you below the waist. That's you got to control that. Okay, what just no, that's got to be controlled. Watch this. And here also are those who desire to what? Live in comfortable conditions, who feel that everything should be posh and comfortable. That's cool. There are counterproductive things for you as an aspirant. Why? You don't want to be living in terrible conditions either, in the war zone, things like that. But you don't want to what actually also be having people wait on you, doing everything for you, all and that kind of thing either. Rich people, they really get lazy. Why? Everybody do it for them. That's what they're saying. You don't want that. But if you do, what? You become what? Soft. That's why. You ain't doing it for yourself. You become conceited, delusional about what? The reality of the world, which is in reality not wholly pleasurable for everyone from an egoistic perspective. Why? If you did that, you would be sheltered from the reality of the world and spiritually challenged, watch this, and cannot be made effective under those circumstances. Under those conditions, Haru within you, watch this, the Haru in you under those conditions cannot have a challenge to come forth and redeem you as a Sarawak. Haru had to suffer defeat and failure in order to what? Discern the correct path to success in life. We're going to have some missteps. We're going to have some haps, okay? But those are things you have to go through. I asked the Lord, if you wanted me to teach about you and that's what I'm doing, why you let me go through that stuff? He said, because I had to make sure you were proven. Gotcha, no problem. So watch this. Self-mastering or mastering your earth element, the principle of Geb, allows you to what? Achieve that success in life also. That's the lesson. No, I got a Q&A. I want this Q&A. I got to get this Q&A. Okay, but just the question. In reference to what? The principle of Gab, as we talk about. And at every lesson, there's a Q&A. I just wanted to get this one in. They got a nice one here. And Gab, as some of the disciplines needed to what? Master Gab are of what? Your lower principles. Seeing that Gab is of the heavenly realm, I was figuring this principle might have been mostly a mental or astral natural nature or astral nature, being in mind, it will also take that concerted effort to what? Willpower to master the forces of God. Again, it ain't easy. They tell you that. Now, let's get the answer from my teacher, Sabai Dr. Mutar Ashby. That's the point that we have taken. We shall consider something that I was alluding to in the lecture. This is him speaking, with which Gab, even though you have the earth element, which relates to everything that is physical, that is grossly physical. Recall that I also talked about the what? The grossness as well as the subtlety of the nether the principles of creation. The grossness of your body, which is the bones, your skin, the muscles, and your flesh, relates to the physical aspect of you. But also, there is a subtle principle behind your personality, your physicality, excuse me, behind your physicality from which physicality emanates. Even your conception of physicality is what included your idea of physicality itself. This is where we get into more of the what astral or metaphysical concept behind Gab. Mastering Gab means what? Mastering the gross physical element, which means that even the physical food that you eat, as well as the mental food, as well as the spiritual food that you consume, are all included in your makeup. So the principle of Gab implies all of that, and mastering the earth principle in its highest sense really means what? Mastering the conception of what? Physicality, the idea that you are an earthly being in and of itself, which is what actually the bulk of care that holds you to earth itself. That is an aspect of you. It's your very conception, your very idea of yourself, your very erroneous concept that you are what? The body. If you think you're the body, you're wrong. And watch this. Recall what we talked about, the teaching of the body. The body belongs to earth. That's Gab. Gab has the body, and the soul belongs to Nu. That's heaven. And Gab is like what? He's the gatekeeper between earth realm and that heavenly realm. Therefore, mastering Gab means you're mastering the capacity to what? Escape the earth, to escape the physicality of the earth, with becoming spiritually enlightened. That's mastering Gab. And mastering Gab, there's twofold process, and that is mastering the physicality, the gross physicality, as well as what? The subtle physicality. And that's what I was implying during the lecture, where I talked about the grossness as well as the subtlety. And when we are moving toward a higher divinity, the cosmic divinities, we may see what their principles reflected in the lower. Why? Because all those are being projected downward into earth. But what we are seeing in the higher divinity is the subtle power of that principle that manifested in a gross way in what? The lower ones. As we get more and more subtle, we get to the supreme being. And another thing that you should be keeping in mind is that we move also higher on the tree of life. The force of power of the cosmic principles becomes what? More intense. Okay, also. So the power of physicality is more powerful in the what? The subtle regions than it is in the gross regions. And the reason that is because the power of the mind, the astral plane, is stronger. It is greater than the power of the physical coagulated world, the physicality of us. In fact, the gross physical realm is the least powerful, the lowest on the scale, and the more powerful, the more subtle, and the more higher your vibrational rate that you're tapping into, aka raising your conscious level. Again, knowing thyself. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I enjoyed giving it to you. Oh, we got more.